Let's take a look at the Boston Celtics. Very weird season. Very interesting season. Maybe a weirder season coming up. It's the 24-25 season review. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I'm just going to sing it normally, then do the short voiceover mentioning the product at the end. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We're available on all platforms. Double bang, single bang. No. Double. Audio, video, thumbs, comments, subscribes. We've got the live draft show Wednesday, 25th of June, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure you're going to be there, and I will see you there because I'm hosting the show. I'd hope I'm there. Otherwise, something's gone very, very wrong. I will see you there. For that show, it is the Boston Celtics. We're doing the over 28s in this episode. We'll have the under 28s coming after that. And then we'll have three teams left, Cleveland, Indiana, and Oklahoma City. By the time you are watching this or listening to this, we may know who's won the NBA championship. I do not. I'm recording this before Game 6. So we'll find out. Tyrese Halliburton's playing, but the game hasn't started. So I'll address that once I know. You know how it works. Let's talk about this Celtics team who, the last team that we did was the Houston Rockets. They had a really good season. 52 wins or whatever it was. Look at the gap. The next team, 61. That is a huge difference. So we had the absolute cream of the crop, Boston, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, with a heap of wins. And there was just a big gap between those guys heading into the next group. And that's where we're at. 61-21 for Boston. They won the title the year before, and obviously a disappointing year. Not even making the conference finals, and then a literal franchise and league-altering injury with Jayson Tatum going down with a torn Achilles. And you might think that's hyperbolic. I get that. But it is league-altering. This is a 60-plus win team, multiple years in a row. Young players, under contract, could have won multiple titles. And now, the best player in his prime loses an entire season. Probably won't be back at his best for the year after that. And by then, some of the other guys have aged out. They're incredibly expensive. They have new owners. Do they sell pieces off? And then what does the next iteration look like? Do they go into a 2-year rebuild? Trying to get guys around Tatum when he comes back and he's back at his best at age 29? I don't know. That is why it is league altering. This is a team that was poised to be the best team or top 2, top 3 teams along with Oklahoma City and probably Cleveland for the next 3 years. And now they won't be. And they've got hard decisions to make. They've got 2 picks in the draft, pick 28 and pick number 32. Like, not guys that are going to produce much value, but again, if they do decide they need to do something different this season, maybe those picks are moved around or they find themselves in roles that on a team that's usually as jam-packed as Boston, you don't see those guys play. In terms of the non-guarantees and the free agents, which we'll get to now, 2 guys, Neemias Queta, the Pastel de Nata, and Jordan Walsh, their second-round pick from a couple of years ago. Walsh has shown absolutely nothing so far at the NBA level. Queta has shown an ability at times to be a backup center, to be a spot starter. He's got $1.2 million guaranteed, Queta. Walsh is just $200K. I imagine that Walsh will return, and I imagine that Queta will probably be back as well. But of course, his role and where Queta fits, it's going to depend a lot because there are 3 other centers who are ahead of him. 2 of them are free agents, and one of them has the worst illness ever known to man, apparently. So Queta actually could play a role. He might not, but he could, because there's just a lot of stuff that can happen. J.D. Davison is on this team. He has a team option for $2.3 million. I don't imagine there'd be a priority to bring him back, but again, who knows what they do? Davison is a really, really strong passer, but the other parts of his game haven't really caught up. So I don't really think he's much to talk about. We'll talk about him in detail on the other show. Drew Peterson, a restricted free agent, one of their 2-way guys. He did have one game that was really good this season. He's okay, sort of forward-sized player. Nothing that exciting, but the big question is going to be the unrestricted guys. Not because Torrey Craig's unrestricted, doesn't matter, but because Al Horford and Luke Kornet are. Now, Horford has obviously been a Celtics legend. He's won the title with them. He keeps going and going. Somehow, by the way, Al Horford younger than LeBron James. He is 39. Will it make any sense for him to, A, want to come back on a team that's probably not going to compete? Will it make sense for Boston to bring him back and pay him whatever he wants? Will he just retire? Horford continues to defy where his age is, but of course there's clear drop-offs. The other guy who really stepped up as a backup is Luke Kornet, and guess what? Also a free agent. So when I talked about Cater before, I don't think both Horford and Kornet will be gone, but there's a chance that, what if Kornet is a starter and Horford doesn't come back? And it's Porzingis and Kornet together. Would that work? I don't know. Kornet feels like a little bit of a Boston legend. His game has transformed so much. He was really good at times. But I don't think you want him to be a starter. But again, if they're not going to be competing, can they cut salary in other areas and just he provides something? They are massive. Outside of what they do organizationally, the decisions around Horford and then the trickle down onto Kornet and onto Cater is important because theoretically, all three could be gone. They probably won't be, but all three could be. And then where are you relying upon Porzingis? Probably not. Maybe two of the three are gone, and then that one who's remaining is in a huge spot. So there is a lot, and I don't think it'll be the case. But I could see Luke Kornet being someone that in a fantasy league that we look to because the role just could be there. We're talking about the over 28s on this show, so we're going to start with the best player who's over 28 on this squad from a fantasy point of view, and yes, it's him. It's maximum Derrick White. White is someone that, if there's one player that I am known for on this show, it is Derrick White. I've been on the Derrick White is very good train for a very long time when he was DeJounte Murray's backup in San Antonio. And it is played out perfectly, eventually. I'm also at a stage now where I think Derrick White gets overrated from a fantasy point of view. And he was 17th in Yahoo's 9-cat total rankings. We know that's clearly garbage. I had him ranked as the 50th ranked player this season, 72nd in points leagues. He played 34 minutes. He had 20 usage. He's 31. You will notice the Darko Delta has him 19th percentile. Drop off. I agree. He was not as good as he was in the past. And that key number is there. He is 31. This is what happens. He still does the things. Like 1.1 blocks out of a point guard is amazing. But you will notice that he didn't even average a steal a game. And in the past, he was a much better steals guy. That's not the case anymore. That has fallen for a bit. 38 from 3, still really good. 84 from the line, still really good, but only 44 from the field. 5 assists, 16 points. All of this, though, with Derrick White, there's numerous things that can happen. Because Tatum's gone. Somebody's going to have to take the shots. Can White ramp it up? Possibly. Is White, who is probably their most valuable asset, if they were looking to trade away guys, will he even be there? Would they trade away Jrue Holiday, meaning that White then does more ball handling? So while he was 50th this season, playing 34 minutes on 20 usage, this could go any number of ways. It would likely go up in terms of usage and put to 23, 24 with more ball handling. Like I could see him averaging 6 assists, 18, 19 points, and being a very comfortable third-round guy. But he is never an all-star player, who I think he probably should have made it 2 years ago, but whatever. He's never been an all-star. He's 32. Cliffs can hit hard. We've already seen the steals fall away. If the blocks go to 0.7, don't know if they will, but they could. If that falls down, if the shot goes from 38 to 34 because he's required to do more, then you're not talking about a top 35 player. So while it all looks on the surface that there's going to be way more for Derrick White here, more ball handling, more usage, more time on ball, like 87th percentile here, like offensive load, 77th, they could jump up to 92 and 91 or whatever. They could all go higher. His usage could be higher. Or that could cause a drop in so many other areas. So remember that White is on the downside. He might get a boost that keeps him flat because of the absences, or he could also just be shipped out somewhere else, where the ability to get the ramp-up role because Tatum's gone doesn't exist for him anymore. So I still really like Derrick White. I still think he's really good, but this is going to be heavily context-dependent. Is he in Boston? Who else is in Boston? And if he's not in Boston, what is the team and their total context? Because it's not as simple as Tatum gone, White more. Not as simple as that, I don't think. And that's what makes it really intriguing and important to be able to pay attention to that. We've got more guys to talk about, including Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Al Horford. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Car Gurus. Yeah, Car Gurus. Shopping for a car should be exciting. Should be exhilarating, not exhausting. Confusing prices, hidden fees, all of that makes it an overwhelming process at times. And that is why Car Gurus is the way that you want to go. You're going to love using Car Gurus. They help you cut through the noise and show you the best deals with full confidence. With over 4 million listings, Car Gurus has more new and used cars than any other major online marketplace in the US. They verify dealers, provide real price analysis, and give you the tools and data that you need to make the right choice without second guessing yourself. Plus, the price drop alerts show you your perfect car at the price that fits into your budget. It's no wonder that SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That is cargurus.com. cargurus.com. I think some of you would be surprised to know that Derrick White was the best fantasy player on this Celtics team in the over 28s, not including Jayson Tatum. Better than Porzingis, better than Jaylen Brown. I think some of you would be surprised. Some of you wouldn't, but some of you would be surprised to see that. Now, that brings us to talk about a player that I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what to say about Kristaps Porzingis. I was not going to draft him. His ADP was outside the top 100. Per game, I ranked him about 60th, I believe, heading into the season. No, 40th, actually, and he ended up ranked 60th. He averaged 33 fantasy points. He played 34 minutes. All right. Actually, what the hell? Those numbers are incorrect. They are Derrick White's numbers. That's annoying. I'm going to have to fix that, aren't I? Yeah, I am. All right, so now that's fixed. What I was saying is, like, he came back way earlier than I anticipated, Porzingis. I didn't think that he would be back as early as he was. He ended up playing just 29 minutes a game, but he had 26 usage. He averaged 20 and 7 with 2.5 threes and 1.5 blocks. So it's not quite prime Porzingis, but he hit 41% of his threes. He's great at the line. Field goal percentage was fine. You'll notice that Darko's Delta has him 9th percentile, so there was a decline, and that's true. He wasn't as good as he's been in the past. He still contested shots at a high level, but time on ball very low. He's not a high time on ball guy. That's all true. But then we got this weird illness, and he missed a bunch of time with it, and he came back, and then he just couldn't play in the playoffs. What the hell happened? Did he have COVID? Did he have Ebola? What on earth went wrong? And I just don't know what to do with that, because he had the illness, and then it was a problem 2 months later, 6 weeks later. Is this an ongoing? Is he stamina dead? Is it never returning? I don't think that's the case, but honestly, I didn't think we'd be in the playoffs where Porzingis wouldn't start games and play 12 minutes because of an illness from March. I didn't think that would be a problem. So now I've got to go, well, what if it just holds? What if he never can do it again? I'm a bit worried. And we know with Porzingis that his body has suffered a lot of problems, especially knees and ankles. He's going to project out incredibly well, I'm certain, because I'll project him for more than 29 minutes. Horford might be gone. He might play at center. He might average 2 blocks, 3 threes, and 26 points. He could easily do that. He might be a top 15 player. And where he falls in drafts is going to be how we hit on this, because if he's like in the 70s, that's amazing value. But if he comes in with an ADP of 28, I'm not interested. And in Dynasty, while I think this coming season is probably going to be the best of the rest of his career, he's 30. Now, not quite like Derrick White. He's a better player than Derrick White overall in his career, and I think he can sustain value for a while. But the injuries are a concern. It's built up into the same body parts multiple times. Now, this weird illness is there. So if we're talking Dynasty, I would love to see what happens at the start of the season for Porzingis. And if he starts cooking, I'm selling, depending on where I am. Like, if I'm going to win a title and contending in a dynasty format, then I'm not moving off. I chips in, we win, rebuild later. But if I'm middle pack and he's cooking, I don't think it gets better after next season. I think that will be the peak for Porzingis, and then we see where that all goes. It was a really disappointing season from Jaylen Brown. From just his actual play, but then the knee injury, which turns out to be a meniscus issue. It clearly really sidelined him at the end of the season. He apparently is going to be ready to begin next season, and I've got no reason to not believe that. But the easy thing for us to sit here and go is, well, okay, Tatum's gone. Jaylen Brown, finals MVP, he's the one that's going to step up. Yep, that's an easy assumption to make. He was the 70th ranked player in category leagues. He was 43rd in points leagues. He's usually a better points than category league guy. You will notice that both Drip and Darko said, yeah, this guy dropped off a cliff. 13th percentile delta, 11th on Drip. That's not good. 76th percentile on ball. Defensive numbers, 25th percentile deflections. Look, what's this? 32 from 3, bad. 76 from the line, bad. Not bad, actually, just not good. 46 from the field, not great. And all this talk, we can talk here and say, okay, well, he'll take over from Jayson Tatum and he'll be the guy. He already had 29 usage. Like, how high is that going? 32? 30? Can he take on... Is he a good enough playmaker to take on more assists? Is the fact that Tatum is gone meaning that he has to play up a little bit more? Does his rebounds go up? I don't think it's a stretch to say that he'll be better than 70. That feels pretty comfortable. All right, he's 29, he's the middle of his prime, but he looked really bad for long periods of time. The assists should rise. The rebounds should rise. The scoring should rise, but it also might not. He might cop a more of an efficiency hit without an increase in usage. Very possible. He's not sitting at 24 usage. We talked about White's usage and Porzingis' usage, which was fine, but not sky high. This man still has the highest usage. So he might just actually sit at this number and others come up. So I'm not going to look at him in the 20s or 30s. 50s would be decent value, but again, it feels like it's a one-year thing. And I'm not really, like, the big drop-off that Jaylen had this season, was it all knee-related? I don't think so. Because he was still not good before the knee. Is he stuck at this level forever? I don't think so. And I don't think he's ready to fall off or anything like that. It was just a weird season. And he's always been a weird fantasy guy. Like, he's very good as a player. But like, oh, why aren't your threes high enough? Oh, you're not getting any defensive stats. Oh, you don't actually pass, or your free throws are bad, or whatever. It's always that. And now we get a chance to see can he actually push that usage even higher? Can he be a more incisive and useful passer? Can he be the guy with the ball in his hands the way that Tatum is? And I'm not sure that he can. We know the left-hand dribble stuff with Jaylen, but we know that, like, the ball handling is not great. Can he be that guy, or will he just stay at this number and stay at this involvement and usage? And then you hope you get something better in the shooting, but you also might not. So it'll be an easy one, I think, to look at in terms of big bump coming for Jaylen. I'm not as convinced. Jrue Holiday did fall off. I faded Jrue. I had him 89th in the preseason. His ADP was 80th, so yeah, avoiding that sort of spot, no problem. He ended up with a 9-cat total ranks of 103, which of course belies the fact that he was not useful for fantasy basically all season as a 12-team league guy. He was the 113th ranked player, 139th in points leagues, which again, 113th is fine in a 12-team league. But he never really pushed past that. And if you had him as your 11th best guy or your 12th best guy, there was no spike. You would have got more value from streaming that spot without really any question. Considering he also missed 20 games and he's now 31. 16 usage, he played 31 minutes, he's now 35. 16 usage, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.1 steals. And he used to be a very good steals guy, but that's gone now, I think. I don't think that's coming back. The passing numbers, nowhere near as good as they used to be. And you'll notice DPM Delta, 2nd percentile, because he fell off a lot. Now, did he fall off because the others were good? Or did he fall off because he fell off? And I would say that the Celtics team was basically the same. Except for half the season, Porzingis wasn't even there. So it wasn't team context stuff that made Jrue fall off. He fell off because he fell off. So, again, Tatum is gone. Someone is going to have to do more initiating because I don't think Jaylen Brown can really do it to that level. But Derrick White's a better player than Jrue Holiday. And does Jrue take the usage back to 19? Like, he was lost on offense a lot of the season. I don't think the steals come back. Where is the passing? I think that he will be a draftable guy, and I think he will get drafted. But I don't think it'll be by me. Because I don't know that there is one last upside push in him. And if the team doesn't compete, Why would he go more than 30 minutes a night? Why would he even still be on the team necessarily? So there's a clear fall off. The cliff has come. It has hit him and knocked him down hard. There is more usage available, but I'm not sure that he takes it. I'm not sure he's got... Well, that's not true. I'm not sure that if he takes it, and he probably will have to grab a little bit more, if it actually leads to a positive outcome. Because I think that, like, given his age, I just don't think he can do it at that level anymore. So while theoretically he might be like the 100th best player or 120th best player, I think it's going to be so limited that I'm not sure it's going to be worth it for us in fantasy leagues. Today's episode is also brought to you by Wayfair. There's nothing like getting out into your outdoor space and feeling like you've escaped to a personal oasis. You've been wanting to update your patio for a long time, I'm sure, and now you've got the perfect way to do it, and that is Wayfair. It's easy to turn into a space that feels like yours, comfortable, stylish, and ready for the summer. Wayfair has everything that you need to level up that outdoor space. Conversation sets, outdoor bars, fire pits, hot tubs, gazebos, string lights, I don't know, pool toys, something. Lots of stuff at Wayfair to get your patio, your outdoor space, perfect view, whether it's bringing a bunch of the blokes over for a party or just sitting out there contemplating life and string lights. Wayfair has everything that you would need to turn that backyard space into the perfect oasis. So don't wait. Make your outdoor space your dream oasis today with Wayfair and enjoy it all summer long. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop a huge outdoor selection. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right, so you'll notice that's 4 of the 5 Celtics starters are over the age of 28. That's why they're in such a weird spot. Because now their best player is gone, and what did these guys do? And a lot of these guys are sort of getting, over the hill. And then the next guy is the free agent. It's Al Horford, who is clearly over the hill. He's still incredibly productive for a man who's 39. His game has tailored and changed depending on what he's able to do. He somehow played 28 minutes a game this season. 14 usage. He has pulled that usage all the way back. He almost exclusively just takes threes. Out of the 9 points per game he scored, basically 6 of them were threes. He hit 1.9 threes per game out of his 9 points. He blocked only 0.9 shots this season in 28 minutes, so that level of production is not there anymore. He somehow turned into an absolutely elite free throw guy. He doesn't take any, but 90% from the line, 36 from 3, but only 42 overall because he takes a lot of threes. He doesn't finish as a 2-point guy anymore. He doesn't take free throws anymore. He was the 125th ranked player, but you will notice post-trade deadline 113th when the Porzingis illness hit again. Can Al Horford at age 39 play 28 minutes again? Will he want to? Will the Celtics want to? Because you would imagine that if he's back, it'll just be Horford and Porzingis as the starting frontcourt. But who knows? He doesn't block shots like he used to. His passing is still solid, and he will probably take on more of that if he is back with Tatum gone. But like when we're talking about Jrue Holiday, this is an old guy. Ramping his usage up or his minutes up don't really make any sense. He won't be able to do it. And if you have to ramp that stuff up, it's probably at the detriment of everything else, meaning the best result is probably just a neutral from where he was this season. So again, we look at it and go, well, someone's going to do something. But can he actually do it? Which then might filter it down to, well, it's got to be Derrick White. It's got to be Jaylen Brown. It's got to be Kristaps Porzingis. Or it's got to be one of the other guys that we talk about in the under 28 show. So I don't really think Horford ends up on a different team, honestly. I think the 2 options are he's back or he retires. And if he's back and the Celtics are in a gap year and nothing year, I don't think he plays 28 minutes. I think he might play 25. I'm not sure. It is a really tough... I know that there's no real upside in Al Horford at this point. And realistically, you do need Porzingis to be out to really help him. But again, maybe they just go double big all the way through. And then he's able to do enough. Like 9, 6, and 2 is not very good. It's not. It's, 2 assists, 0.6 steals, 0.9 blocks. What's good about that? The 2 threes are good. Nothing else really. There's nothing to pop. And there's nothing I look at there and go, well, yeah, now he'll be a 20 usage player. And now the blocks will come back. I don't think any of that stuff will happen, irrespective of Tatum being there or not. One of the guys to look at will be Luke Kornet, who again has found a real niche in Boston and a bit of a cult hero. When he first came into the league with the Knicks, he was a Porzingis clone. He was a shot blocking, 3-point shooting big man. And now he never takes a three, like literally never. I don't know if he attempted a single three. And was very low usage, 11% in his 19 minutes. What he turned into is a really good rim protector. He averaged 5 rebounds in his 19 minutes. That's pretty good. He averaged 1 block in his 19 minutes. Pretty good. He is incredibly low usage. He's turned into a much better passer than he was in the past. And what we saw in games that he started, I probably should bring these numbers up. But when he had to start, when Horford would rest on the bat, the other thing about Horford, he's not playing back-to-backs. That's not happening. There's no need for it. When Kornet had to start, and sometimes it was frustrating because Sneaky Joe Mazzulla would sometimes go with Cater. He'd go with Drew Peterson randomly. He would start someone else, Xavier Tillman, would get opportunities to start. And you never really knew what you were going to get. But if you got the inkling, if you got the idea that Kornet was going to be the starter, well, you'd know you'd get a better result. He started 16 games. He played 28 minutes in those games, averaged 10, 6, and 2. He averaged almost 2 blocks a game in those games. And shot 73 from the field. While that's not a must-roster 12-team league guy, it's definitely a 14-team league guy. And it's streamable for 12s. Like 2 blocks with 10 and 6 on 72%. Actually, maybe it is a 12-team league guy. Probably is. So again, it's just, keep it. Like, is Porzingis still sick? Is Horford on the team? Can Kornet lock in at 24 minutes a night every night? Considering they don't really have any power forward. So is Porzingis strictly a power forward and it's Horford, Kornet splitting the 48 centimeters with a bit of Cater? He could end up being a sneaky 12-team league guy, Luke Kornet. The last guy on this team that is over the age of 28 is Torrey Craig. And you might remember that Torrey Craig didn't begin the season on this team. He ended up on this team. He wasn't a part of the rotation. He ended up playing some games. He's that guy that I've been using a lot as an example of the random, undrafted, unheralded 3-and-D wing who has these really good moments and then falls off. The guy who's ready to become the next Torrey Craig at the moment, by the way, is Royce O'Neal, who's that guy out of nowhere. Wow, Royce doing these things, and he's about to fall off and be actually absolutely terrible, I think, soon, Royce. He's not far off that, and that's what happened to Torrey. He shot 36% from 3 still, but the defense isn't at the level it was. Doesn't get the steals like he used to. He's 376th ranked player for category leagues. He's 34. There'd be absolutely no reason to bring him back. Because, as we're going to talk about in the next show on the Celtics, there might be some interesting things. Whoever gets picked at 28, or maybe it's Baylor Iman that finds himself in a rotation role in an experimental season for the Celtics. There might be some sneaky things that go on with this team. And I am interested to see them. I'm interested to see you here, because that's the end of the show. I'm interested for you to hit the subscribe button as well. I'm interested for you to be a part of everything that we do. Commenting, liking, subscribing. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.